Welcome back. Welcome back to everyone. Fantastic to see you who are staying here. We have some fantastic panelists with us now. We will be discussing more recycled plastic, less ocean waste. And joining me today, I have Carmen Barrero Perez, who is Acceleration Manager at Europe for AB Inbev, and Julie du Bruyckere, who is Key Account Manager at Beverage Benelux at Schoeller Allibert. So thank you so much to both of you and for giving me very difficult last names to try and pronounce, but welcome to the virtual stage. Very nice to see that you're chilling out on a beach. That's also making me jealous. So I hope your interesting facts are good for me this morning. That's how I like to start my panel. So a big welcome to you both. Please, can you share with me an interesting fact about yourselves that not many people know about you? Oh, let me just take you off mute if you can.
No, yeah.
There we go. Yes.
All right. So I was saying that thanks a lot for the introduction, that you really nailed my family name, and that we are very glad to be here with you all today. So a fun fact that not many people know about me is that before I started working for the biggest brewer in the world, AB Inbev, I never drank beer before. In my defense, I grew up in the middle of the vineyards in the south of Spain, with my father being a winemaker.
Ah. So your first beer, which was it?
It was a Stella Artois.
Very good, very good. Okay, perfect. Well, have you got an interesting fact to beat that, Julie?
Well, the funny thing is, we only found out this morning that mine is a bit, well, it's also to do with her topic. So actually, I'm telling you this story. It's a very personal information I'm sharing with you as a saleswoman of beer crates. Don't forget that, because I actually have a confession to make that I'm having a secret affair with red wine.
Ah.
Yeah, and we've been dating for over 15 years now, and I just have to admit that every moment I spend with it, that I really indulging it. So it's funny that actually we had the same topic. We didn't know that about each other, but there you go. You wanted personal information, there you go.
Oh, and it's very personal information.
Yeah.
But you know, it, maybe not surprising, being from the alcohol industry, coming up with information for your personal fact that links with the industry. So very good, very good. We were going to start off with a quick poll question to the audience, which is, how do you define sustainability? So you should be able to see here a question come up on the screen. And so the question is, how do you define sustainability? There's some multiple choice there, which is working on a greener world, more use of recycled raw material, reduction of CO2. Since recycled materials are used, the end product must be cheaper than the one made from the virgin materials. Or D is an extension of one's marketing strategy and therefore used for PR. We're getting 67% in on working on a greener world. I think that actually aligns with my answer, if anyone's interested. So we'll just give it a few more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. So yes, 67% there, working on a greener world. More use of recycled raw materials. I don't know, how does that align with your thoughts, ladies?
Well, it's pretty much aligned to our thoughts, but so actually in that question, we can say that it was a little bit a tricky question. There was one actually answer that wasn't wrong, but then the other 3 remaining, they could be right. So this is something that we will be actually touching today during the presentation, that we will be guiding you through, and we can discuss a little bit more in detail some of the answers that we actually were providing, Jenny.
Perfect. Well, AB InBev is proud in taking a pioneer role in sustainability. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about the Corona crate that AB InBev launched in Germany.
Sure. So, but before to do so, actually, we have a very short video. It's only less than 2 minutes, and we would like to play it now because we would like the audience and also you, Jenny, to warm up a little bit and to get a little bit of a hint of what we'll be discussing in the next 30 minutes.
All right. Well, let's warm them up. I'm happy for you to share your video. Let's go for it.
We believe life is more enjoyable when lived outdoors. But our natural world is under threat. Up to 1 million tons of fishing gear enter the ocean every year. This plastic waste causes huge amounts of harm to the environment. As a beer made from the natural world, the least we can do is help protect it. So we've worked together with our partners to develop a new crate made with over 90% recycled plastic, including maritime industry plastic waste, fishing lines, nets, and ropes collected from fishing vessels. This material is sorted, shredded, cleaned, and converted into pellets that are used to make our 100% circular crate, the first bottle crate using maritime industry plastic waste. Everything in this crate is not in the ocean, which helps us to protect nature. Pick up our new crate and help us save the ocean. Live more, waste less.
What a fantastic video. Really, really good. Yes, well, now hopefully we're warmed up. And by the way, to the audience, this is an open session, so you're very free to add questions or comments in the chat or in the QA box. And I'm sure Carmen and Julie will be very, very happy to help answer those. But I hand back to you, Carmen. Tell us more.
Yes, so now that you know you are a bit more familiar with actually our Corona 20 pocket crate and actually some of the sustainability aspect of it, I would like basically to pick up back your question. And indeed, Jenny, linked to our net zero ambition, we have 4 sustainability goals for 2025 that will help reduce our emission, but we will go actually beyond that. We are going to be touching your beers from A to Z in order to make it more sustainable. For instance, we work hard on water stewardships. We are supporting our farmers, and we are also opening one of the largest solar farms in Europe this summer to make our electricity green. Our 4th sustainability goal actually is linked to circular packaging, where the aim is to have 100% of our products in packaging that it is returnable, such as our crates, or made from the majority of recycled content. Linked to this sustainability goal to be 100% circular packaging, in March 2022, we launched the new Corona crate. And it is the first and only one out there that is using this maritime industry waste. And we are extremely proud to take this pioneering role in sustainability. Now we are going beyond our return systems and we take it one step further. But what does this mean? This crate is actually made over 90% of recycled plastic, where we include the maritime industry waste, such as the fishing lines, nets, and ropes that have reached actually the end of the functional life. By capturing this potential harmful waste, Corona is actually helping eliminate the risk of being discarded into nature and damaging our oceans. On top of that, this crate is enabling the reusability. Basically, our consumers can buy these crates and once the beer is over, bring it back into the designated points and get a new beer.
So there's a lot of different information there, a lot of different pieces of information there. What do you think is the most innovative part about the crate?
So as I was mentioning before, this crate is the only and first one in the market that is using this maritime industry waste. And this is what is making this crate special. From the beginning of this project, when we were really liking the ideation concept, we knew that we wanted to protect the paradise. But to do so, we must reduce waste. And yeah, it's a nice challenge, but how to do so? And here is where basically Julie and the grand technical team of Schoeller enter in the development phase of the project. I also like to mention that here in ABI, innovation for us is key, and we always try to develop an ecosystem of partnerships with suppliers. I can tell you already, this wouldn't have been possible without the great collaboration and partnership that we have with Schoeller. But now, Julie, would you like to tell them further how you managed to grow actually our ambition from design to manufacturing?
Of course. Well, since Schoeller Allibert is since years in the business, we are not afraid of a little bit of a challenge when it comes to great design or other funky requests. And since we already made previous crates, waste-free ocean boxes with the maritime industry waste, we felt quite confident that we could do the same with the beer crates. So actually we got together with a few parties and it resulted in a delightful, I think, collaboration, very intensive collaborations between, for instance, the designing agency Drinkworks, which is very much sustainability oriented, the technical team from ZTEC, where Carmen was leading, the regional and global brand teams from Corona, and of course our team, our Schoeller technical team consisting of mold engineers, crate engineers, concept designers, material innovation directors, salespeople, project managers. So we have gathered a lot of expertise there in order to make this crate happen. And yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but today this is Inbev's most sustainable packaging. Consisting over more than 91% of recycled content. And it's actually the first beer crate on the market made out of 20% of maritime industry waste. And I think what is really innovative about this, except for the fact that we were using fishnets as raw material, is the fact that we included the riptide effect. And those are the white lines you see. And actually we did that to even reinforce the storytelling of the brand. And since the brand is very much referring to oceans and nature, no two crates are the same in this one, which is actually what is happening in nature too. So we sort of try to visualize that. And also it actually shows a little bit that we did some crazy funky stuff with materials. So yeah, by doing so, I think we nailed it when it comes to bringing an innovative product.
Absolutely. I didn't know about the kind of, it's almost, you could say, like a fingerprint then, because none of those lines are going to be the same on any others. Yeah, that's really interesting, and that obviously helps to connect with the whole environment, with the whole ethos there. That I guess that was the plan from the beginning. Was that something that came later on, or?
It came really from the beginning, Jenny. So as we like to say, Corona, it's a beer from the natural world. As you could see in actually one of our last marketing campaigns after the lockdown during COVID, where we basically were inviting people to go outside and enjoy nature. But Corona is actually a brand that was, it's actually born at the beach. And we were inspired by this natural world to basically create this amazing beer. As a brand, I see Corona as a brand that's deeply connected to nature, and on top of that is also brewed with 100% natural ingredients. So we felt the need to go beyond our current returnable crates and go the extra mile by really using this maritime industry waste material. As you saw in the video, we mentioned that actually up to 1 million tons of this fishing gear enters the ocean every year. And this plastic waste causes huge amount of harm to the environment. As a beer that is actually really made from the natural world, as we like to say, the less thing we could do is really help protecting it. And so that's why really the connection between the beer, the packaging, the crates, and the environment. And indeed, I think that many people will be reminded of the effects of the waste of the ocean by just looking at the crates.
No, it's really kind of bringing everything together. So it's a perfect product, perfectly aligned with the brief and perfectly aligned with the idea of sustainability and of course the environment. But how are you both? communicating this sustainable product, this sustainable practice?
So actually we are doing that in different ways. The first one is obviously tailoring this to our consumers. We are connecting with them through social media, through also telling the message in our Corona Crate covers and marketing campaigns. But that's not all. We are also sharing with a broader innovation network, such as today being here in the Connected Packaging Summit. We focus on innovation and sustainability. And furthermore, we will be talking in other events such as DreamTech. As well, there is a new stream, which is basically that we are submitting our beloved Corona Crates in different packaging awards categories. For example, we have submitted in the German Packaging Awards, the World Beverage Innovation Awards, or also the Essentia Awards, where we are very pleased to announce that we are already one of the first finalists. But Jenny, we are not doing that just to get, let's say, the prizes or to tell the story. We really want to create visibility. We want to share the story about how it is actually possible to challenge our current manufacturing processes, innovate with new materials, and definitely promote that collaboration that we believe that is actually key if we want to dream big. So definitely, as I was saying before, if it wouldn't be because of the great partnership between the two companies, we won't be here today speaking about the Corona 20 Pocket Crate.
And if I take your question back and reflect at Schoeller, Jenny, I think our DNA. We were talking about NDAs earlier. Our DNA and actually our core business cannot be more intertwined with sustainability. If I take our identity statements, Schoeller is designer of returnable packaging solutions, and for us plastics is good to waste, end quote. I mean, I think that says it all already, but it goes way further than that. On a daily basis, if I look at how our designers, how much effort and thought they put in their designs with that sustainability in the back of their minds. For instance, a combo, which is a very big plastic box where you can put liners in to transport liquids like nail polish or egg yolks or whatever. If that liner is empty, you can take it away and you can fold that box as a pallet. That folding ratio very much determines also transport optimization, for instance. So for a company that needs to transport those products from A to B all the time within their production sites, it can save them huge amounts of trucks and freight and the CO2 reduction emission. So, I mean, that's another example of how it's very much simply integrated in our core business. And then I think a very important practice on how we identify ourselves with that sustainability is our material research and development. Today, Schoeller Allibert is not only using the classical recycling material streams, but we are even able to upcycle other waste streams. So that means that we prevent those waste streams to end up again as waste, but we actually integrate them in our cradle-to-cradle loop, which is, I think, quite amazing. And I think the very last point I could say is the fact that we are really unique as a rigid pallet container, as a RTP producer, that we can offer our grinding services to our customers because we have multiple grinding facilities which are EFSA certified, which is quite exceptional too. Yeah.
So the whole piece around being able to take the materials before they become a problem is similar to the maritime part, right? So fishing nets, and it's a really interesting concept that, you know, it's forward thinking to be able to bring a solution before the problems happen, even though we know that problem's going to happen. It's really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Will there be a phase 2?
Well, I can say that we have recently confirmed like a second order of the great Corona 20 Pocket Crates. But beyond that, Jenny, we are really currently working in a new project, which is at the moment in very early stages, but again, where we focus on returnability, in reducing packaging materials, and again, thinking out of the box when it comes to minimizing waste. I cannot really give further details, but I hope you will invite me again in the Connected Packaging Summit of 2023.
Me too.
And I will be able to further tell you more and what has been again our story, and hopefully it is again a new successful story that will help us to contribute to our sustainability goals.
Fantastic. Well, we'll see. We'll see. So far, so good for your invite to come back. Julie, what about from your side of things? What's moving forward? What's phase 2? Or well, not phase 2, but what looks like the future for sustainable design?
Well, since, as I already said, it's very much part of our DNA. We have similar, and yeah, that's again why the NDA word came up. We have many other projects running where we are actually trying to do similar practices like this project in terms of material, special material use or special design in order to achieve that sustainability aspect. So I mean, I think the fact that we will produce more of those crates is already for us phase 2, but I think other projects are coming as well, so for other customers. So yeah, bring it on, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we know also in the market at the moment there is a big challenge around materials, specifically virgin plastic. How do you feel this crate is supporting the problem or solving the problem?
Yeah, definitely. So from our side, as I was mentioning in the beginning, as in our ambitions for 2025, so the fourth sustainability goal is really like 100% circular packaging. And so basically before I was mentioning two things. One is that we wanted to have our products in a returnable type of packaging, such as this one, right? And then also we mentioned that we wanted to have our packaging made of a high content of recycled plastic, right? Such as this case. So definitely the Corona 20 pocket crate, all the volume that will be sold actually in those crates in this carrier, it will be contributing to our sustainability goals for 2025 from our point of view.
And I think from Schoeller's point of view, the challenge we are facing when it comes to virgin plastics, that is something which has been going on for years already. We have faced a decreased demand and use of and availability of virgin plastics because there was a decreased production of oil and also distribution, and then there was the Corona pandemic, which wasn't helping, and the current political situation in Eastern Europe is not helping either. So that's all hand in hand, and as a result of that, there has been also an increase of demand for recycled materials. As Carmen already mentioned, a lot of companies have been defining their own sustainability strategy, which tells them, listen guys, we want you to have by years blah blah X percentage of your packaging or your products made from recycled materials. The legislation is changing, is forcing a lot of companies to use more and more recycled materials. But I think amongst humanity, amongst us as end consumers, also we become very much aware of the impact of what we're doing on our planet, and there's more awareness when it comes to sustainability. One way packaging, single-use packaging, is simply no go. Packaging made from virgin plastics, if it's not necessary, it's simply not accepted anymore. So all these trends have led to the situation that we're now facing, that we need to address new material sources like this one, that is a post-industrial stream, but also post-consumer streams like shampoo bottles, for instance. That is also material that has been addressed right now to use as plastics, to say so.
Absolutely, and I think that the story around everything, not only the design but the concept, everything that kind of pulls together this crate is something that could be communicated to consumers even through a QR code onto the Corona bottle, for example, showing that fantastic video that we had in the beginning, being able to really communicate that, because you're quite right, it is what consumers are very, very interested in at the moment. In fact, it's one of the top things that consumers think about actually when purchasing. One, of course, is price, and then the other is the impact on the environment. So there's a huge opportunity here, I think, in terms of communication and education, to be able to communicate that from the packaging of your bottle, perhaps on the crate as well, to be able to really inform everybody of this fantastic crate.
Exactly.
What do you think about other companies? What are they doing? Is there anyone that particularly stands out for either of you around, other than yourselves, of course, that are doing a great job in the packaging industry around sustainability, communication?
Yeah, so actually, Jenny, I wanted to talk to you about something, and to Jenny and to all of you. Is that actually that definitely, in my point of view, no one company can solve today's sustainability challenge alone. I think that here we really need to hold hands, right, if we want to tackle this in the right way and to keep protecting our planet. So that's why actually I wanted to talk to you about Accelerator 100 Plus. I don't know if you have ever think or heard about that before, but it's actually a program that Inbev put together with Coca-Cola, Unilever and Colgate. Here basically we recognize in an open way that we need to combine efforts and scale innovation solutions if we want to accelerate the green transition of our supply chains. So I invite you, all of you, to go online, just type it on Google, Accelerator 100 Plus, and then you will be able to find a lot of information here. But so basically one of the main work stream is actually circular packaging, as I was mentioning before. So here in this program, what we are doing is that we are constantly on the outlook for new ways of reusable packaging, improve our packaging system by increasing, for example, the recycled content. We are also looking for new system of recycling, actually infrastructure, or eliminating the weight of another components. So it's really like a very extensive program. It's not only focus on circular packaging, but circular packaging is one of the main categories, and we really invites all the companies and other startups to join the challenge, right? And that we can all work together in order to reach our sustainable goals.
Maybe you can also send the link to that, because when I send the recording round, I can definitely include the link to that for you, and then you can get involved and have a look at the website and see, what part they can play. Because you're right, it's not one company is going to be able to do everything.
Exactly.
Very idealistic. I think we've all got to chip away, and I think that includes consumers, and consumers, as I said before, becoming much more aware of where their packaging comes from, where their products come from, whether that be the food industry or the clothing industry or whatever. I think that there is huge focus now in terms of being able to do the right thing. And I think, there's a lot of different surveys, but what we can really tell is that people will pay more to be able to ensure that they're paying for something which is a little bit more sustainable or doing a better job for the planet. So
yes,
if consumers are doing that, brands need to respond. And so I think that's absolutely key. I don't know, Julie, if you had anything to add to that, any other companies that stands out for you? Is there any other instances that you'd like to kind of have a chat about?
Well, I think all of our customers might be, from our side, we help any customer that wants to achieve that. And as already, I'm repeating myself, since it's part of who we are, I think we try to do so all the time. So I think anybody who's knocking on our door to get into a project or to buy our products is already being sustainability, since we do nothing but that, actually, to be very straightforward.
Is there any particular SKU difference? Is there more of your customers from one particular industry vertical than others? Is there, just as a whole, is there any kind of particular industry that seems to want to do more in sustainability?
I think companies who are that are really customer facing, like that are in touch with their end consumers, communicating a lot with them, it's very important for them. But you see that other companies as well, as I said, the legislation is changing. Companies simply have defined their own sustainability goals. It's actually all sorts of companies from all markets are working on that. And because of the market is so much changing because of the availability of certain materials, we are simply pushed in some direction. So everybody will have to deal with it sooner or later. But I think most of the companies that are communicating with their customers directly, so from a B2C perspective, I think those are the ones that have been knocking on the door for the first time.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think there's so much change in legislation now. It's also we've talked about it in some of the other sessions that we had yesterday, and also today it came up in terms of the legislation changes, in terms of new laws which will also indicate where the packaging was sourced from, how to recycle that packaging, is really pushing brands who perhaps have thought they could ignore that for a little bit, is really kind of pushing them into having to think about it. And I think one of the first laws is going to be obligation by 2024, and that's not that long away. When we think about how long the process takes, I'm sure this wasn't a situation of Carmen giving you a ring and 2 weeks later.
Wish that was possible.
It took a lot of it takes time to reach out this end product, right? It starts with the idea, and I think that maybe particularly for this project we were lucky that somehow you were already advanced because of the initial project that they have with the other company. But so yes, those projects they take a bit of time to go from the idea until the point that you will have really the real end product in your hands. So definitely we need to go ahead of the curve and start working now.
Yeah. No, exactly. We got a question in from Petra from the audience, and the question is: will consumers have to pay more for this crate, or will you as a company absorb that cost? And how much are consumers willing to pay more, do you think?
They don't have to pay more for the crates. They just have the regular deposits and as any other crates. And definitely, like those crates, I can say they are more expensive than any other regular crates, but we are convinced that we are doing the right thing. We are betting in sustainability, and it's the right thing to do.
I've got somebody coming back on my other question, on the other point, which was around the time that it takes, roughly, from the first conversation around would like to do something like this to actually holding that prototype product in your hand. How long roughly does it take, or did it take?
It was over 1 year.
A year and 3 months or so?
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, but we have to keep in mind we're talking about a mold that needs to be built here, and it's that takes someone about 5 to 6 months. Yeah. And you need to do a lot of tests to make sure that the quality of the product coming out of that mold is compliant to the specifications. So that has also been extending, I think, the timeline of the project. But we were very much on the same page from the beginning. So I think if you are dealing with a product where the lead time is not that of products that are part of the end product, I think it can be in a shorter time frame too.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Yes, I wanted to say that obviously as we are working with new materials, especially for us, like Inbev, quality is key. And quality means that, the crate also needs to go through a series of testing to make sure that, it won't break down, or any of our consumers we may get injured or anything like that. So all those testings, they also take time. They need to be performed in different laboratories. So obviously that's also always kind of slow down a little bit the development process, because it's kind of obviously like iteration cycles, right? It's like you do, you advance, you iterate, you move again. So it always takes time.
Yeah, of course. But I'm sure also for brands that are watching here now would also want to go through a testing process as well. So I think that just becomes part of the process. Carl was asking from the audience, why do you need to have a new mold? Could the new approach not just have been using the existing molds?
Well, the thing is, for this one, as I said from the beginning, and I purposely tried to keep it a little bit vague. We did some crazy stuff here with the materials. Also from a production / processing point of view of the materials, we were not able to do this with a standard mold. So from a designing point of view, from the mold / crate, we had to take that into consideration too. So that's why we needed to build a new mold. Yeah, and of course there was also the inquiry of ABI.
Carl just added an extra comment saying, I think it would look great and really promote if the overall finish also listed perhaps or showed the materials used. I mean, that's quite an interesting point. He's talking obviously about the more crazy materials used, fishing nets, for example. Was that something that you thought about? Again, you could always put a QR code on that and you know, show people that. What do you think there?
We're telling that, so actually this crate, it also contains, like, we don't have it here unfortunately, but it also contains like crate cover, and so in there basically you can find all the information about the crate content, and they can also see there is like a picture, let's say somehow, of the material that is inside the crate, such as the fishing lines, the nets and the ropes. Yes.
Oh, great, brilliant. Okay, then I was just wondering if maybe Julie, we can go back to kind of the plastic converters challenges. I mean, there's quite a lot going on there. What's going to have to change?
Yeah, because as we already described, and there's that swift from virgin materials towards the recycled materials or recycling materials. There's actually two things that I want to raise because they are quite important to mention. One thing is, and you already touched it quickly, when using recycled materials in a product like, for instance, this one, you might have to face color restrictions. Because what's happening is the materials that you're using already have their own color. Mm-hmm. For instance, if I use this specific crate and project, we got the message from the brand team that they really much wanted to respect the brand color, which is a very dark blue, which was easier than if it would have been a very bright yellow, for instance. So I don't know if you remember from the video, we had those little green pellets from the fish nets. That was part of the raw material that we used. And we also had another HDPE regrind source. So somehow you have to make sure that those colors in the end become this. Mm-hmm. So it's thanks to an amazing collaboration with our master batch supplier that we were able to develop a master batch that could overcolor those materials, ending up with this. But again, if this crate would have to be bright yellow or vibrant red, we would never ever been able to succeed. So in some cases, I think for marketeers and people from brand teams, they have to let go of the idea of the old school brand book, brand identity, brand colors, because when you use those materials, sometimes it's simply unable. You already see it with PET bottles, for instance. PET bottles that have been recycled don't have that vibrant, transparent look anymore. It's a little bit grayish. So you already see it there. And I think a second very important issue to raise, and multiple people were already discussed it, is the price. As a salesperson, I talk to a lot of customers, and I still meet people that think, okay, so we are using non-virgin materials, so recycled materials, which means it's inferior quality, so then the product must be cheaper, right? If you think about it, these crates or any product that is made from recycled material needs to be compliant to the same specifications as when you have a product made from virgin materials. So if that quality is inferior, you need to be able to upcycle it. And so sometimes you need to add additives like stabilizers or something, which cost money. And on top of that, again, we're in that market situation where more and more companies tend to use those recycled materials. So the demand and the supply is just not in balance anymore. And in our market mechanism, then you simply have an increase of price. So my shout out to the audience is actually, if you guys think of launching a project where you want to have a product made from recycled materials to have cost saving, you might end up a little bit disappointed, because in the end it might be that it's not cheaper at all. So which I think shouldn't be the only reason to launch such a project, but take it into consideration, because it's an important thing to to take.
So to really kind of think about the reason why you want to do something. Is it because you want to do something for good, or is it that you're looking to save money? Exactly. I think that's what you're saying. And then secondly, to also be aware that there could be challenges in terms of sticking to the exact brand book due to the fact that colours, and I hadn't really thought of that, but of course it makes sense. And of course you can see the differences in the plastic bottles, but I wasn't really sure why, but now I do. So
it's like you said earlier, you can also embrace it and see it as an opportunity to have a different conversation with your consumer and really tell the sustainability story, instead of, hey, this is the old brand, remember it? I mean, yes. It's how you approach it, I think. And this is a new reality we all have to accept.
For sure. And I think that the push and the focus on more sustainable, more eco-friendly, or all of these different words there is really because people care. So if you don't want to be part of the greenwashing crew, then I think those are the types of things that you need to be able to accept. And perhaps, this is, as you say, something that's naturally going to be there. Obviously, if you know anything about plastics and being able to change colours and things like that, then that's naturally the answer. There are some impossibilities, but also, again, the reason, and it tells that story, the reason why this is because we're doing all these great things, and that becomes a massive positive, and really then I think defines those companies who are really doing a bit of greenwashing, and those who really are dedicated to wanting to make a change.
Exactly. Yeah.
That I think is pretty key. We're kind of coming to the end of the session. I don't know if you've got anything in particular that you'd like the audience to take away, any one particular point that, or anything we haven't covered. Here's an opportunity. And no personal information needed at this stage, but to the audience as well, if you've got any other questions. We've just got a comment in, actually. The development costs need to be covered in the product cost, as I understand, but all subsequent clients will benefit. Well, this is more a comment, I think, as the hard work has been done by the companies who did it first, and I'm sure through time the costs will stabilize. I mean, do you agree? What do you think about that?
I think the cost of the materials, I think that, as I said, that's a new reality. I don't think we will ever get back to the price level that we got a few years ago. So that will stay. But indeed, but I don't think that development cost is so much integrated in this one. No. So I think it's more on a cost level, on the material. The cost on the material level, I think that is that new reality I was referring to earlier.
Yeah,
definitely. Okay, anything we've missed out, or anything you'd like the audience to go away with?
Yeah, maybe if we have a little bit of time, Jenny, from my side, I would like to cover a couple of things. The first one, it's really, I would like to again touch base here on what innovations means to me. And I think that I would like to share with you all that innovation to me, it's really about being able to measure the problem, about falling in love with it, be passionate and authentic in order to be able to look for solutions that will create value for consumers and for the business. So that for me, it's very key. It's I've seen other projects, other companies that potentially they are gonna fall in love with the solution and not with the problem, and therefore have a very narrow mandate. So that's why for me, the key here is be able to measure the problem and fall in love with it, to make sure that you will keep open mandate, and then you will find the best solution for that. And then last but not least, I would like to further emphasize collaboration. And if I may tell a very short story. Do I have time?
Yeah, you have time, go for it.
So I go ahead. So listen, very short story. It's really about a master strategy that actually was called as a guest speaker. It was in a random company with over 50 senior managers. He actually gave a task to the senior managers as far as he entered in the room. He says he actually brought some balloons, some markers, and then he asked to each of them to take one balloon, blow it up, and put their names on the balloon, and then brought the balloons into a near room that was actually vacant. Immediately, the senior managers, they quickly went, pick up the balloons, they blow them up, they put the notes, they put their names, they went and they threw the balloons into the vacant rooms. What happened after that is that the master strategy asked them, please go back into that room, pick up your balloon, you will be under stopwatch. You can imagine what happened. It was kind of a mess. Everyone was running over each other. Some people actually put their foots on top of the balloon. People were not happy. Then other people returned with the balloons. But so the master strategist, please, all of you come back. Do you think that is a smarter way to do the task that I asked you? They quickly, they were all senior managers, they quickly started making strategies, setting some ambitions, but the master strategy says no, we really need to change the rules of the game. And so let's do one thing. You're gonna go back to that room, you're gonna pick the first balloon that you see, and then you will read out loud the name of the person. The person will pick up the balloon and will return back to the room. And so in less than 5 minutes, everyone was back in the main room with all their balloons. So this is what collaboration does. And what I mean for me is that I think that by better communication and with collective kindness, I believe that we can help each other to deliver against our objective faster. And definitely from Inbev point of view, to brew a more sustainable future with more cheers.
Thank you. A good story as well. I don't know, Julie, have you got a story?
Now, I actually have a request for the audience. I live in Holland, and there's a company there that collects waste and converts it, and it has a tagline: "There's no such thing as waste." Now, I don't want to get involved in a legal case or get fined or end up in jail, but I honestly think that's 100% what it's all about. My shout out to the audience is never throw away plastic waste. If it's production waste, consumer waste, call us. Call Schoeller, and we will investigate together with you to what extent we can use that as raw material for our next packaging, because that is actually the few projects we're running right now. It's amazing if you think about how we're able to convert waste into new packaging. So again, call us if there's any waste you are dealing with, and let's see if we can do something about it with it.
Absolutely. And it's been a real eye-opener. It's been a fantastic session, ladies. I really love the fact that you've got that background. It's making me very jealous of my plain white walls. But I think you've shown us a product that really does embrace all of those different points. And I wish you the best of luck with all the awards. I'm sure you're going to do really, really well. It is a fantastic product. It does bring everything together, even into the that kind of wave print or thumbprint onto the packaging itself.
Riptide effect.
Exactly. Thank you. So a massive thank you to you both. It's been really great having you on. And I'll probably invite you back next year. Let's see.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you,
Thank you for having us.
Bye bye.
No problem. Thanks very much. And
thank you.
We do have our last session coming up next. We'll be looking at the world's first sustainability packaging with digital transformation at its core. I'm going to be joined by Adriana Golovic, who is Marketing Director at South and New Markets at Allibert. It's going to be a fantastic session. We will be here at 15:15, starting that. So do please stay tuned, and I'll see you soon.